next week or the week after. It will get approved at some point in time, but also the trade now is who's next.
The Ethereum spot ETF is getting approved for the first time in crypto's history. ETH ETF approval delayed until after July 8th. This is due to the holiday in America, but also the US SEC has requested the issuers submit revised filings by July 8th. And the ETFs are significant because institutions finally have an easy on-ramp to allow all that institutional money to buy Ethereum.
But also the trade now is who's next.
Watch today's whole video. I have Chainlink news, Polkadot big news, but let's start for the altcoin getting an ETF most likely after Ethereum.
Big elephant in the room here is how regulators would treat Ethereum versus Solana versus Bitcoin. How much concern do you have about the regulatory disapproval of Solana versus how they treat Ethereum?
So we know that Van Eck has filed for a Solana spot ETF. Also, 21 Shares has filed an application, and 3iQ, a company in Canada. BlackRock is expected to apply for a Solana ETF in July, although this has not been confirmed yet. But with Van Eck, for example, having applications for both Ethereum and Solana, the firm's Matthew Siegel says decisions on both come down to SEC's Gary Gensler.
Well, one thing that Gary Gensler said at your conference last week, which was not in that soundbite, it was that the Ethereum applications are going smoothly. And this might be the only time in 3 years that I've agreed with Gary Gensler about something. But if these products are allowed to trade, then that confirms that Ethereum is a commodity, and the same thing will be true of Solana as well. So, there's some focus that there's no regulated futures market for Solana, and that might be holding back the ETF. We think that is a Gensler psyop. He has created that condition since taking power. There are a number of ETFs that trade where the futures market is irrelevant to the price formation. I'm talking about shipping ETFs, uranium ETFs, power ETFs. So with the slight change in the regulatory environment in Washington, we think these will get approved.
So typically, if an asset gets a regulated futures contract, that often leads to a spot ETF. Solana didn't get this. They don't have a futures contract, although while that's precedent, it is not a requirement. Solana to hit $1,000 on perfect ETF storm if approved, although that all depends on inflows. For example, with Ethereum, Steno Research predicts that spot ETFs will take Ether to $6,500 per coin later this year. If they can get the inflows, Steno believes the Ethereum ETFs will attract funds between $15 to $20 billion during the first year of trading, even including the possible outflows coming from the Ethereum Grayscale Trust. This pushes Ethereum's price over $6,500 per coin. Of course, if Ethereum doesn't get the inflows, the bearish case, Steno's vision differs from the bearish vision of other market analysts like Bloomberg's Eric Balchunas and James Seyffert, who have foreseen that these instruments will only be able to capture 10% to 20% of the inflows that their Bitcoin counterparts captured this year. In other words, the bearish case would only be between $1.5 to $3 billion in inflows, rendering the ETF unsuccessful compared to its Bitcoin counterpart. But Ethereum and Solana are different. They're competitive.